Let's have some fun here with Acadian Plant Health. We're going to do some this or that. We'll get into the style of this in a second. But first, let's bring in our guests. Up first, we have Reyes Gaige, who is the Regional Technical Manager for North America for Acadian Plant Health. How are we doing today, Andreas?
Doing really well today, Sean. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Also responsible for business development in Canada, it is Loren Davis. Loren, great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again, Sean. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, Loren, let's start with, let's get our audience up to speed here. We got a bunch of different topics we're going to roll through and get both your perspectives on. But what is Acadian Plant Health and what does the company do?
So Acadian Plant Health is in the biostimulant business. So we harvest seaweed out of the Atlantic Ocean. We're a Canadian company, and we create a product that farmers can apply, use it either as a seed treatment or foliar on their crops to help deal with crop stresses, abiotic stress, and help that plant be healthier.
Great stuff. Okay, so knowing that, then we're going to cover a bunch of different topics that are in the biostimulant space here, and trying to bring that back to some of the questions the farmers may have. So here's the first question, and we'll get each of you a chance to answer. Fun little game here that we're playing. First question: early season application or mid-season application? Andreas, let's start with you.
Yes, Sean, absolutely. So I really like the early season application better. The reason for that is because you get your crop to start to a strong start because it's going to help with root development. That root development is going to be very important for nutrient uptake, water uptake, and then that's going to lead to having a better and healthier crop.
Okay, Loren?
Well, it's hard to argue with Andre's comment because root development's important. But if I purely had to focus on abiotic stress, which biostimulants can help on, I would choose that mid-season. I recently saw a LinkedIn post from my friend at BSF, Brent Collins, that talked about invigors, and they reached that milestone of 100 bushels an acre. And I think the crops that we grow have a huge genetic potential, and the challenge is how do we manage that abiotic stress to give that crop the best opportunity to maximize the yield potential.
So it's kind of and I guess it sort of feeds into the next question is, it doesn't have to be just one application. It could be single application, but it also could be multiple, right, Andreas?
Absolutely, Sean. So multiple applications usually are going to result more advantageous. Lauren was just talking about that invigor new bushel breaking record in Canada, and that is absolutely true. And we can reach that using Acadian's biostimulant. With multiple applications, what we are going to be obtaining is that abiotic stress mitigation later in the season, which usually it's what reduces the potential of productivity in crops. So it's known that abiotic stress can reduce the potential for productivity 7 to 10 times more compared to diseases or pests. So being able to bring a tolerance to that is fantastic, and that's what Acadian can bring to the table.
Okay, Loren, what do you think?
This is where Andre's been able to help me out being new to Acadian. He's gone through the trials with me, and it's clear that the data that he's shown me that more than one application, so often two applications, especially when we're talking about broadacre crops, gives the maximum benefit to the crop.
Yeah, let's just stop for a second and back up. Andreas, when we're talking about biostimulants here, what are we trying to do? What is for some people that some farmers have been testing and using and having success with, and some farmers may be, wait a minute, I've heard about this. What exactly is it? Define it for us.
So a biostimulant is going to be a product that's going to have an impact on the metabolism of the plant, making it produce its own hormones or making it increase the increased production of different genes, which is going to have an impact on how that crop is going to perform. So that's in my head the definition of a biostimulant.
So Loren, I guess when we think about the application, are we've decided that multiple is fine. It can have a benefit early or mid-season. But from an application standpoint, are we talking a tank mix with other crop protection products, or is this another pass I'm having to make?
Yeah, I think we need to, growers need to be efficient. We're not going to create another pass, and really, what we want to do is work with the where the farmer's already in the field. So at the herbicide timing, at the fungicide timing, or at the seeding timing, we really need to make sure that our products, go in the tank and mix well at those timings to help that farmer be the most efficient and effective with their time.
Is that how you
Um,
see it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
Well, I was also going to say, it does outside of crop protection products, your biostimulants or the seaweed extract can also be um, used with nutrients, and so that nutrient timing is also a really nice timing because the seaweed does have a chelator that helps improve that nutrient uptake.
Interesting. Is that how you see it too, Andreas?
Absolutely. So something that I always remember is that growing up, my parents would tell me that if you do not play well with others, others won't want to play with you. And that's the same. The same is true for agriculture. So when you get only one path where you can mix multiple ag products, you are going to see an advantage. That grower is going to see an advantage because it's going to save them on time, labor, and costs. So that's huge.
Great. So when we're talking about biostimulants, are we talking about broadacre crops like corn and beans, canola, pulses, or is this a better fit when it comes to something like horticulture, whether that's potatoes or maybe it's in orchards and things like that? Is one better over the other, Andres?
So that's I call in alphabet research. My research expands from A to Z, from almonds to zucchini. Acadian is known for its great results in horticultural crops, though, from managing the ability for the crop to deal with different stresses like heat and drought, to providing the farmer with better yields and better shelf life at the end of the season. So I've seen many, many significant positive results in most horticultural and broadacre crops across Canada and the US.
Now, Loren, your experience is in those broadacre crops. So, do you see there being a fit for biostimulants when we talk about some of those crops like wheat, canola, and pulses?
Yeah, exactly, Sean. I think our market is we're almost mature. We're very well established in those horticulture crops, across that smile of the US and in BC, Ontario, and Canada. Those are almost mature. They're biostimulants and seaweed extracts are used widely, and so my interest is to help support growing the use of biostimulants in the crops across the prairies and so making sure that we got the research in place to help farmers make those decisions and show them how it can help as another tool growing a profitable crop.
So, if we look at horticulture or those broadacre crops, are we what are we trying to do? Are we trying to push root development and having the bigger the biggest bulkiest most robust root package, or is this more about increasing nitrogen use efficiency, for example? I guess, Andreas, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
That's a great question, Sean. So I think that they both go hand in hand because root developments, especially when you get that small absorbative roots growing, it's going to help you with nutrient use efficiency and water uptake. So when you get that bigger root, you're also going to get better nutrient use efficiency and uptake. And like I said, they go hand in hand together. You're going to get both benefits, really.
Okay, Lauren, what do you think?
Well, seaweed extract, it's not going to boost the yield higher than what the crop's natural potential is, but what it can do is it can help combat some of those abiotic stresses, help better root development, so that that crop's able to reach its full potential, or a better chance of it reaching its full potential.
So we're trying to help it, Lauren, push through some of the stresses that it's dealing with then?
Yeah, so when it comes to stress mitigation, you're not going to fool a plant for its entire growing cycle of, is that 90 days or 100 days? But if you apply prior to a stress, you can help that plant, mitigate that stress for a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a really interesting area of crop production. And I just feel like, what we knew 3 years ago is not what we know today. And just think about where we're going to be with some of the knowledge and some of the use and product development into the future is pretty exciting. So last question I have for both of you is, what's the one piece of advice that you give to the Real Agriculture audience that is interested in trying out a biostimulant? Andreas, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. So my advice to anybody who wants to try a biostimulant is to first find a company that has conducted thorough research in that one product that they are interested in trying. That's number one. You need to make sure that the data backs up the product that you want to test. And secondly, it's important to choose a product that makes sense to your operations. You need to think about the crop that you're going to be growing. What is the need that you have for applying that product? What are the value propositions that makes sense to your operations? It is also very important to remember that not all biostimulant products are the same, and not all of them are going to be doing the same thing. So you need to choose carefully about exactly what you want from this product.
Yeah. Loren, what would your advice be?
I think biostimulants, they're a great fit. They do have an opportunity in broadacre crops. They're not a silver bullet. They're not going to replace your fertilizer or your fungicide or your herbicides, but they can be integrated to be a nice addition. As we're trying to get more out of our soils and we're trying to get more out of our crops, we're looking to different ways to manage our crops. And I think biostimulants can be a nice tool in the toolbox and complement what we've traditionally been doing to help get the most out of the plants and help them to produce the most that we possibly can.
Well, and a good opportunity to do some side-by-side, some strip trialing with some of the precision ag tools that are out there to measure how that, you can look at obviously root development, obviously leaf size or color, and then and then also obviously the ultimate evaluator, which is yield and quality at the end of the day. And it's a good opportunity for growers to be doing that kind of stuff, isn't it, Loren?
Yeah, exactly. And that's coming from a science background for the last number of years. I definitely rely on that, and I think that's important to help farmers make decisions.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, really appreciate both of you joining us here today. Obviously, we got Loren Davis and Andreas Reyes Gaige, both from Acadian Plant Health. If you want to find out more about Acadian Plant Health, you can go to acadianplanthealth-na.com. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks for having us, Sean. Great questions.